As many of you know, the front headlights on these mini Jeeps, they kind of suck. Well, I got something to fix that, so let's check it out. Now, as many of you know, I have started a mini Jeep series on my YouTube channel. That's right, guys. We're going to be taking this thing to the playa. We're going to be camping with some Temu gear. I've got some cool shorts on my Instagram that are going to be going up. I also have some existing videos of going to a Toyota meet and kind of trying to flex it out a little bit and hitting the trail on the Shakedown run. So check those out, guys. We are going to be going to the Rubicon. I'm pretty stoked about that. But to do all this stuff, we need to do some upgrades first. And one of my upgrades that I'm going to be doing is going to be some lights. No, we're not going to do the big 42-inch KC light bar. We are going to be using these awesome little things from Novsight. And I'm pretty excited about these lights. These are amber and white. They're 3,000 lumens. There's 2 pods. That's 3,000 each. And they're pretty cool. Let's check them out. Let's talk about the lights real quick before we get too deep into this video. Then we're going to get straight into the good stuff, so don't worry. They are Novsight. These are the Cyber ones. They are 3,000 lumens each. They are pretty hefty, made out of aluminum. They have heat sink fins on them. And they come with these roll bar brackets and these normal ditch light brackets. You can bolt these up kind of wherever you can on a vehicle. These are great for motorcycles, ATVs, mini Jeeps in this case, and this will bolt onto that. So it's pretty adjustable. Like I said, amber and white, 3,000 lumens. They have holes for the mounting brackets. So for the holes you don't end up using, while they don't go all the way through into the internals, so it's still waterproof, they would allow water to pool up there if we left that open. So they do include these little covers that plug in. So that's pretty cool. They kind of think about a little bit of everything here. They include extensions for your wiring, so that's awesome. The plugs have seals and threading, so you get a nice tight seal right there. It has this nifty little pretty long switch, which I really like. It's got white, yellow, and lightning. Don't know what the lightning does, but we'll see. This is going to go in a nice little spot on my dash. And it comes with the zip ties, it comes with tools, and then all the nuts and bolts you'd expect it to come with. Also comes with this little bracket. I'm not really sure what that's for, but if we need it, we'll use it. And then the wiring itself. So let's go ahead and get this installed. I'm very impressed with the quality of the fit and finish. Pretty hefty, which I like. Now let's go see how it installs, and we'll do the nighttime run. So we're going to take our mount. We're going to remove the plastic pieces so we have enough room to work. And we're going to be bolting this up right here with the mount facing out. We're going to leave it a little bit loose now so we can do fine adjustments later. And then we're going to do the other side. Now we're going to put the brackets on for mounting the pods, and we're going to make sure the tabs are facing back towards the back of the vehicle. Okay, so now that we got the light installed, it looks pretty good. We're going to tighten it up later and make sure it's not super loosey-goosey, but it's pretty solid. I like that. Now we have this wire, and so we're going to drill a hole in the side here and pass this through. Now ideally you'll have a grommet there. I don't have any grommets, but eventually I'll go buy some grommets and we'll grommet that hole up. But let me show you what it's going to look like. So the idea I have for the engine bay is we're going to take this wire, we're going to pop a hole in the side, it's going to go through the body, and it's going to come along inside here, and it's going to come up to here. Now this, you'll notice on this side, the coolster has its own little junction box on that panel. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to put this bad boy up right there, mount it, and then this one's going to go obviously to that light, and this one is going to run up on this frame over to the other side where that light's going to mount right there, and then these lines are going to go to the battery down there. And then from there we're going to hook up the switch, and that's going to run also up through here along this loom and up through the firewall, which I'll show you where that's going to go. So the switch hopefully is going to fit right here. I'll drill a hole for this and then obviously figure out how to mount the switch, but theoretically it'll go right here. Nice easy button pushes and it'll look factory and nice and clean. So let's get back to it and we'll check in a bit. So for attaching the module to the engine bay bracket, it was quite easy actually. I just kind of used some janky solutions, but it's holding up pretty well so far. I'm filming this a month afterward. The module, I just used some double-sided Velcro to attach it, and then just ran multiple zip ties around the brackets. Eventually I'll go back and I'll use something a little bit more secure. I'll fab up a bracket or something, but this has been holding fine. Even with all the vibrations being caused by the engine running, there's no issue so far. Now I'm really impressed with these connectors on the wiring. They're very secure, they're very snug, they lock into place with grooves, and then they have the O-ring that goes around them, and then it threads together. So it's a very secure connection. I don't see how this is going to vibrate off. It hasn't so far, and I put a couple miles on the mini Jeep, so we'll see in the long term. I like it. So now we got to run the wiring from the module over to the switch, which we have to install still. So it has a nice long wire. This will work for a normal car, especially the mini Jeep. So we just connect that real quick, and we're going to run it along that upper brace, which you'll see later, which I'll just zip tie it to this upper brace here once I got everything where I want it. So I drilled a hole for the switch when y'all weren't looking, using my step bit. And this bracket that came with the kit that I wasn't sure what it was used for, it's actually designed for the switch, just to help with installation depending on the type of install you're doing. I don't need it for my application, but I did end up using it as a template for the holes for placement on the screws to hold the switch into place. So right here I'm just kind of marking my holes before I start drilling. Now, if you have a mini Jeep, you're well aware of the fact that they vibrate like crazy. So I had the foresight hopefully, to put on some blue Loctite to prevent these things from rattling off going down the road, because that seems to be a common problem with the mini Jeeps. They just shake everything loose. So I actually ended up Loctiting everything. But the hardest part on this whole install is getting the screws into the switch from underneath the dash. It's just a tight space. I have some small tools from when I was an aircraft mechanic, so it made it easy to kind of get up in there. You can do it with normal hand tools too. Just be aware it's going to take you a while. Just be patient, move that plastic dash piece out of the way, and just take your time and find someone with small hands. Okay, well, once you got the switch installed, go back and just make sure you got everything wired up. I put a lot of zip ties on that module, zip tied everything up along that frame bar, got everything tucked out of the way of anything moving or hot. The wires come pretty well insulated, but just to be on the safe side, I didn't route anything next to the exhaust, and I got my switch installed. Look at that. It looks pretty darn good. So now we got to hook up the power. It's pretty easy, straightforward. I have an optional LiPo battery, but the black goes to the ground and the yellow and red go to the positive terminal. You're going to have to add a clip to the yellow because that's an option on some vehicles. But if you want the full functionality, just plug it into power. It has something to do with the flashing lights later. Alright, well, we got the install done, so time to check out the lights. This is the stock headlights right here. You can't even tell they're on in the video. This is the white option. It's a nice cutoff. This is the amber. It's got a little bit lower light. And well, that's the flashing function. So you got 3 different flashing functions. There's like a SOS, just normal flashing, and then some sort of weird pattern. But you can see it's pretty darn bright. It's got a nice cutoff, and obviously they're adjustable. Just move the lights around. So I'm a big fan of these lights. The one thing I will say, if you leave them idling for too long, they start to flicker because the charging system just isn't that great. But as long as you're driving it, there's no issues whatsoever. They stay on, they stay bright, there's no flickering. Alright guys, well, thanks so much for watching. Here's a couple quick clips of their lights again from a different angle. I like them. We're going to try them out on the Rubicon. We're going to try them on Black Rock Playa coming up pretty soon. We're going to do some camping with some Temu gear. I got some pretty cool stuff coming for this mini Jeep series, so stay tuned, cool your ash, pack your trash, see you on the trails.